Hi guys, it's Stady. So first things first, I just want to get over the fact that this is really weird. I feel like I'm talking to myself, but I'm talking to you guys, I swear. Alright, so tonight we're going to be covering Chapter 7, Planning and Goal Setting. And what you guys can go ahead and do is minimize this YouTube video and kind of just follow along with me through the slideshow so you don't have to look at me. Alright. Like I said, planning and goal setting, and you guys can go ahead and skip over to slide 3 past the picture, and the title of this page is Levels of Goals and Plans. Alright, so the planning process defines every goal set in a company. Without a plan, goals will most likely not be met. Every good plan begins with a mission. A mission is the basis for the company and usually a very broad statement about their visions and promises as a whole. Next, you have strategic goals, which are most likely deciphered by top managers. Following that, there are tactical goals. These are set in place by middle managers, such as the heads of major divisions or functional units. All right, next slide. The organizational planning process. Number 1, you have to develop your plan. By doing so, you're going to define your mission and your vision and set goals. Second, you're going to translate the plan. Define tactical plans and objectives, develop a strategy map, define contingency plans and scenarios, and identify intelligence teams. That was a tongue twister. Identify intelligence teams. All right, third, you're going to plan your operations. By doing so, you're going to define operational goals and plans, select measures and targets, set stretch goals, which are more long-term goals, and also plan for crisis. All right, as a manager, you will always plan for the worst, just in case. All right, and just like it sounds, it's called crisis planning. Next slide. All right, so this is just, those things continued. So fourth, you're going to execute the plan, use management by objective, performance dashboards, single-use plans, decentralized responsibility, and then fifth, you're going to monitor and learn. Hold planning reviews, hold operational reviews, all those fun meetings that Miss Davis was referring to in class. All right, next slide. Okay, next is organizational mission. The mission is known as the organization's reason for existence. This is why the company does everything it does. This is why they go through all those crazy meetings. And this is why they think of all the plans and the long-term goals is to reach their mission. The mission is the basis for all goals and plans, basically what I just said. Without having a mission set in place, the goals and plans at play may not be achieved at all or may not reach their full potential. All right, the mission statement is what differentiates your company from the others. This is the company in its entirety and what people first see. The statement explains to your employees and counterparts your passion for pursuing your mission at hand. All right, so if someone's really going to take the time to listen to your mission statement, just think they're interested in your company and this is their first impression they're getting. So it's got to be good. All right, next I just have like a little picture there and I kind of want to read it to you guys because I thought it was really awesome. I think this is what every company should live by. Okay, so it says, this is your life. Do what you love and do it often. If you don't like something, change it. If you don't like your job, quit. If you don't have enough time, stop watching TV. If you're looking for the love of your life, stop. They will be waiting for you when you start doing the things that you love. Stop overanalyzing. That's so me. Life is simple. All emotions are beautiful. When you eat, appreciate every last bite. Open your mind, arms, and heart to new things and people. We are united in our differences. Ask the next person you see what their passion is and share your inspiring dream with them. Travel often. Getting lost will help you find yourself. Some opportunities only come once, so seize them. Life is about the people you meet and the things you create with them, so go out and start creating. Life is short. Live your dream and share your passion. I just thought that was really inspirational. I read it in the book like 5 times. All right, next slide. Okay, this is just a quote I also kind of pulled from the book. I thought this one was really cool too. A real purpose can't just be words on paper. If you get it right, people will feel great about what they're doing, clear about their goals, and excited to get to work every morning. This to me kind of goes hand in hand also with one of the things we learned in class, where if you make your employees happy, which having a purpose and really wanting to reach that purpose, your company tends to make their employees happy. If you have happy employees, they're happy to get to work and they're happy to do a great job for you as a manager. So I just thought that one was cool too. And I'm going to the next slide. All right, so this one's labeled goals and plans. First things first, we have our strategic goals. These are also known as official goals. They describe strategized goals put in place to describe where the organization would like to be in the future. A good example is a company creating a goal to transition from a quantity-based company to a quality-based company. The book goes into explain this with Samsung, I believe, and basically, as we all know, Apple's like top-notch. And I think that once they realized they had a lot of competition, they stopped worrying about how many products they put out, and more so the quality of the products that they're putting out, which I think quality over quantity always for a company. At least if I'm a manager, that's the way my mindset's going to work. Next slide. All right, so next is the strategic plans that go along with the strategic goals. The steps taken in order to attain those goals. This may include resources needed to reach the strategic plan, such as money, personnel, space, and facilities. The point of the plan is to turn the goal into an actual reality. Wouldn't that be nice if you could turn your goals into reality? All right, next slide. Next, we're going to talk about tactical goals. The next step following strategic goals. These are the results that major divisions and departments intend to reach. This is where middle management comes into play, and major subunits are responsible for their part in the overall goals of the company. Next slide. Operational goals. These goals are precise and measurable. They are put into place by departments, work groups, and individuals. These goals are usually expected to be met, in a short amount of time, such as decreasing overtime by 10% in 1 month. Human Resources uses this method as well. An example of that would be keeping turnover to a minimum so that long-term employees stay in touch with and have close relationships with suppliers. So, I mean, if you were, let's say, a drug rep, and you're coming to a medical office every week and you're seeing a different face, that wouldn't really make you feel like you can trust that company with your services, right? You really want to see like the same friendly face over and over. I mean, obviously sometimes there's going to be new employees, but I just feel as if those relationships, having long-term relationships, are important for companies. Next slide. Operational plans. This is a tool for weekly operations. It supports the tactical plan, and scheduling and budget come into play for this level of the plan. Schedules set the time frame for completion of the goal. Budget determines the process of obtaining resources for the desired activities. Next slide. All right, so this one's labeled aligning goals using a strategy map. An effective goal is an organized and aligned one. Ain't that the truth? Individuals, teams, and departments must be working in sync and towards the same goal. This will ultimately achieve the mission. A strategy map, which I underlined it is a keyword, is the visual representation of the keys to the organization's success. It provides a very clear layout of the cause and effect of the process they have chosen. A well-rounded strategy map will include goals that end with developing employees, enabling continuous learning and knowledge sharing, and building a culture of innovation. The strategy map is a great way for employees to see what part they play in helping the organization accomplish the overall mission. I'm sorry, guys. I feel really weird and nervous doing a video to myself, so I am messing up a few words. Sorry. Next slide. All right. So this right here, I have the new manager self-test, okay? So what I would like you guys to do is, you don't really have to get out a piece of paper or anything, but if you could just kind of look over the self-test, I'll tell you how to grade yourself. It's also on page 226 in your book. So I did it myself, and I thought personally it didn't really define me, but different tests help different people. So what it says here is give yourself 1 point for each item you marked as mostly true, except items 5 and 6. Okay, for items 5 and 6, give yourself 1 point for each one you marked mostly false. Okay? A score of 7 or above suggests that you see yourself in a bigger picture, which is an approach to studying that very well may reflect a successful planning aptitude. All right, so if you guys want to do that little test, I thought it was pretty cool. Like I said, didn't really feel like it worked for me, but everyone's different. Next slide. We have financial performance goals. So these goals are increase revenues in existing markets, increase reproductivity and efficiency, and increase revenues in new markets and products. All right, next slide. Okay, so customer service goals. This is my forte. I actually work in customer service, and I hate when I go anywhere and someone has horrible customer service. I think you should never take your bad mood out on anyone else. All right, just remember that that person is usually coming to you for your services. So why would you want to be rude and try to push them away? I think you need to build and maintain good customer relationships, be the leader in quality and reliability, provide innovative solutions to customer needs. All right, always, always, always try and make your customer feel A, important, B, needed. And I just think that you should really try your very hardest. Even if you don't know the answer, go to someone that does. Do anything you can in your power to try and help your patient, customer, or employee even. Customer service is everything to me. All right, next slide. This one's labeled internal business process goals. Okay, so there are 3 bullets. You're going to build good relationships with suppliers and partners. You're going to improve quality, cost, and flexibility of operations, and excel at innovative product development and next generation market opportunities. Next slide. Learning and growth goals. Promote employee development via ongoing training. That's awesome. I would love if my workplace, offered us good training. That's a good thing for a company to have. And ongoing. It's always good to go back and learn new things. Things are ever changing in the world of business and management. Enable continuous learning and knowledge sharing. Cultivate a culture of innovation and high performance. Next slide. Criteria for effective goals. Effective goals are specific and measurable, are linked to rewards, are challenging but realistic, cover key result areas, and have a defined time period. Okay, so there's a time frame for effective goals. All right, next slide. This one is labeled management by objectives. In parentheses, I have MBO. I guess that is the way of shortening management by objectives. This is a system where managers and employees define goals for every department, project, and person and use them to monitor performance. All right, so not only can you have a goal set in place, you should really be monitoring how your employees are doing to reach that goal. Because what if you put these goals in place, put plans in process, and no one's really following them? You have to monitor to make sure that's getting done. All right, so 1, you're going to set goals. 2, develop action plans. 3, review progress. 4, appraise overall performance. All right, telling your employees they did a good job, always a good thing. A new approach known as management by means, MBM, focuses on the methods and process used to reach goals. All right, so next slide. Goals should be designed to reach key result areas. They need to be organized based on measurement and clarity. Please, yes, let's have some clarity in our goals. There are things called KPIs, which stands for Key Performance Indicators. These are the importances to the company and assess how well the company is making progress in the direction to achieving the overall strategic goal. This in turn helps managers establish low-level goals to drive performance to the overall strategic objective. If we don't start somewhere low, we're never going to get to our end product, right? Next slide. All right, so this is a model of the MBO process. I just thought that it really laid out the definition basically for you. So as you can see here in step 1, you're going to set your goals. Corporate strategic goals, departmental goals, and individual goals. Everyone's are important. They all play a role in the final end product. All right, so you will need to appraise performance in working towards these goals. And then secondly, you develop your action plans. Review progress, take corrective action. Okay, next slide. All right, so single use and standing plans. Single use plans are exactly how they sound. A plan that is intended for one-time usage, something that will not be necessary in the future. Standing plans are more stretched out over a period of time and provide guidance for tasks or situations that tend to occur often. The majority of these are procedures and policies pertaining to the employee's illness, absences, discipline, and means for dismissal. Like I'm sure a lot of companies have write-up policies, like you only get written up 3 times and then you get the boot. That kind of thing is like a standing plan. Also, like everyone should have for their employees a list of their allergies. That's a plan, because if you know your employee's allergy, if something occurs on that list, you should have their emergency contact information or what to do in case, that allergy does come. Like, do they have an EpiPen with them? Do you need to rush them to the hospital? Standing plans are always great to have. All right. And then a good example is the use of social media for standing plans. Next slide. All right, so this right here, I'm not going to read all of this. You can kind of read over this. I just threw it in there because I thought it really also breaks down single-use plans and standing plans, again, which I just discussed with you. Next slide. All right, so this is the benefits and limitations of planning. So everything comes with pros and cons, even planning. So our benefits, our goals and plans provide a source of motivation and commitment. They guide resource allocation. They are a guide to action. They set a standard of performance. All right, limitations can include, but not limit to, they can create a false sense of certainty. They may cause rigidity in a turbulent environment, and they can get in the way of intuition and creativity. So sometimes when you're too focused on planning, and making everything perfect, you sometimes lose your sense of creativity and, uniqueness in a way, I guess. Next slide. Contingency planning. A company's response to be taken in the case of emergencies, setbacks, or unexpected conditions. Examples of this include, but are not limited to, again, economic downfalls, declining markets, increases in the cost of supplies, new technology developments, or safety accidents. A contingency plan is almost like an emergency plan, all right? Same concept. Next slide. Building scenarios. This is a continuation of the contingency plan. It involves looking at trends and visualizing the future possibilities. Okay, even if the worst comes to worst, you don't want to think that's going to happen, you still need to plan for it in case it does. All right, this is opening the door to not only thinking of the past, but of what could happen in the future. It is said that what can cause the most damage to an organization is what was not thought of. The author of Stephen Millet says, scenarios are meant to expand the range of future possibilities managers should consider and prepare for. We should always have a plan to act on in the case that something unexpected does happen. Need to work on my grammar. Next slide. All right, so crisis planning. Contingency, crisis, they come hand in hand, all right? So crisis planning is set in place to act on an unexpected event that could cause turmoil to an organization. These things are so sudden that you must react with a quick and appropriate response, right? AKA, don't freak out because you have a crisis plan, or you should. Prevention, you build relationships, you detect signals from the environment. Preparation, you designate crisis management team and a spokesperson. Create detailed crisis management plan, and set up an effective communication system. Your employees should be able to communicate very fluently, and everyone should be on the same page with your crisis plan, all right, in the event that you do need to use it. Next slide. Innovative approaches to planning. This approach includes the idea to ever-changing aspects of managing and shifts in the environment as well as employees. Experts work hand in hand with managers in major divisions or departments to develop their own goals and plans. It included working with frontline employees to develop plans that meet the company's fast-changing needs. See, I really like that. I think that working with frontline employees, your employees that are really hands-on with everything that's going on in the company, they might not be admin or managers, but they really have an idea and concept of what your company is about, and they're the ones working with it every day. I think it's really important to include them and let them kind of develop plans and let them throw out ideas that will help with, like it says, fast-changing needs. You need your employees. Just remember that. All right, next slide. Set stretch goals for excellence. Love that word, excellence, okay? You always want your company to strive for excellence. Goals that really hype up the employees and imaginations of administration with the thought of very ambitious occurrences for the future. They are usually so drastic that people must be innovative to reach them. A great example is the Amazon Kindle. They had high hopes and dreams of creating their very own hardware, and they made it happen. James Collins and Jerry Porras call this BHAG, big, hairy, audacious goals, which are sometimes scary goals to have, but if you have the means of reaching them, I say go for it. Next slide. All right, use performance dashboards. This is the number one way for an organization to gauge its progress, not process. Business performance dashboards are a way for executives to keep track of key performance metrics, sales in relation to target, number of products on back order, and percentage of customer service calls. Once these are applied throughout the entire company, it allows every individual employee to track their process towards goals or see when things are falling short so they are able to work towards a rise back and increase of performance. Next slide. Deploy intelligence teams. More and more organizations are beginning to use intelligence teams to manage the challenges they face in making informed choices. This team is composed of a cross-functional group of managers and employees. They're usually led by one intelligence professional, each with the same insight of possibilities and recommendations about goals and issues that are at hand, current. All right, next slide. All right, so if you guys could take the time to kind of make sure that you learned at least something of what I've said in this video, you can take the time to answer my questions and I'll read them for you. I'll just kind of go over them, and if you want at the end, you can pause it on this page and answer them. All right, so number 1, define the steps of the planning process. Number 2, what is the term to describe an organization's reason for existence? Number 3, explain the difference between strategic goals, tactical goals, and operational goals. Also, differentiate the plans that come hand in hand with these goals. Number 4, what do they call goals that are intended to inspire excellence and energize the employees? And then I threw a true or false one in here. True or false, not every plan will be effective, but planning does enable an organization and its employees to respond swiftly and more efficiently in a crisis. All right, next slide. This is just my reference, which everyone knows is the book. I hope you guys somewhat enjoyed my video. I'm awkward, I know, I apologize. And have a great rest of your night. Bye.